Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video, continuing our series on Bring That Mercedes Back from the Dead, I'm going to be swapping out my injectors. I'm trying to chase down a little bit of a gremlin in the idle, and these are probably, or they're, as far as I know, the original injectors, and they've got almost 134,000 miles on them. Now normally I would not use remanufactured injectors. If I was going to do this and I had my way, I would take the injectors that are in there out. I would take them apart, clean them, and then install the Bosio nozzles and pop test them, set the pressure, etc., and do it that way. However, right now I don't have the luxury of time to be able to do that. I'm going to put these in. We're going to pop test these first. I'm going to show you what the pop pressure is on each one, and then we're going to test the old ones. But I need to have the old ones, I need to have the car running while I work on the old ones, and I don't have a set of 240D injectors. These are different, not in physical appearance, but they're different in the pressure that they pop at. These crack off at 115 bar, and a 5-cylinder, like a turbo diesel, I think is 135 bar. So it's a significant difference, and I don't want to, I have a set of the 5-cylinder ones, but I don't want to use those because I would have to re-shim every one of them, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to be putting these in there. Hopefully these will be good. I'm not a fan of the Bosch nozzles that are in the ends of these, but it is what it is. That's what I have to work with, so that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be doing these, it's called the safe way. I'm going to be doing one of them at a time. Usually I would take all the lines out, take all 4 injectors out, and do them all at the same time. But I want to see the difference as I do each cylinder, because one of the cylinders is a little funky. So anyway, enough talking. Let's go ahead and get this job done. It's not hard, and I'll show you how to do it. All right, so I just opened the package, and yep, it says 115 bar. So that's definitely where we want to be. So I'm going to take the protective caps off, and I've got my pop tester here. Gonna go ahead and put the injector on here. The body of the injector is 1 1/16", and the hold down nuts are 17. Now, if you ever do this, I have to caution you, do not ever put your finger underneath here when you're pressurizing this. It could be fatal if you do that, because the diesel fuel will pierce your skin. It can get in your bloodstream, and yeah, that's fatal. Can be fatal. So I'm going to pressurize this first. I'll let you guys see the gauge in just a minute. First, I'm going to make sure that there's no leakage. 1500, 16, 17. There we go. And that is a really good pattern right there, if you see. 15, yep. It's about 115 bar is, I think, about 1667 psi or so. So it's almost 1700. See if I can get both of those in there. Well, okay. So, just going to move this down like this, and the gauge goes up, and it's about and then we'll just hold it there, and we'll see if it leaks. If it drips, and it doesn't, I'll let the pressure off. And that's good. Okay. So that injector is very good, passed. So next I will take one of the other injectors, or the new injector, the old injector out. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of the hold down clamps. I have them marked. I've got the lines marked 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to, what is this, an 8mm? I'm going to remove one of the hold down clamps. Of course, the back side's spinning. Yep. But I'm going to remove that, and then we're going to use a 17mm to loosen the line, and then I'm going to remove the injector. Alright, so I cracked that loose, and you don't need to take this completely apart. You can just slide it off, just like that. Now that the line's loose, I'm going to use a 17mm wrench. I have a special wrench that I bent for fuel injector lines. Just like that. It makes it a lot easier to get to the nuts on the lines. Okay. So I'm just going to slide this out of the way. I don't have to take it completely off. One thing I am going to do is get my pliers and remove the injector return lines. Usually if they're old, they'll rip off. I'm replacing these anyway. Yeah, see, it just rips. It's all right. Now I'll get a long socket. Okay, and it's plenty long enough to clear the what you want to be able to clear the return line nozzles or outlets. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a close-up. I'm not even going to wipe this off. We'll just let it be just like this. Alright, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see down in the hole right there. The sun is blinding me, so anyway, that's where the heat shield goes and the injector screws in. And I'm going to show you an up-close view of the old injector. Let's wipe the edge of it off. I don't know how old that's been, how long it's been in there, but let me put the new injector in there and the new heat shield, and then we will hook this up to the pop tester and see what its spray pattern looks like. Alright, so I've got the injector back on, I've got the line on, but I have this loose because it's got to pump the air out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and crank it. And there should be some fuel coming out of here. Okay, there's air coming out. There we go. Loosen it again. Let me get on the other side of the camera. I'll loosen it, just make sure all the air is out. There we go, see? Alright, so definitely, hopefully you'll be able to see the spray pattern is definitely not as good And the pressure, just because this injector is a little worn, the pressure that this pops off at is barely 1600, but hopefully the camera's picking up. This is more of a, it's almost getting to where the cone is really, really narrow, and it's spitting more than it's atomizing. So hopefully you'll be able to, the camera will be able to pick that up. But definitely the Reman injector sprays a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the other injector, and then we'll look at the results. All right, so I want to show you guys why I don't like these remanufactured nozzles. If I hadn't checked this, if you didn't have this and you just threw this in your engine, let me show you what can happen. So you get peeing. That's called peeing. That right there will burn a hole in your piston. So that is definitely not going in the engine. I'm going to take another one off out of the package, and let's see. This is defective. It's a new injector, right? Remanufactured, and but you see what can happen. The first one was good. But that one, that is not going in that engine for sure. Okay, let's see if this one's any good. Okay, the number 3 injector is the one that's really hard to get to, so I want to make sure it's got a good one. Okay, that one's got a, that's got a much better, it does have a little bit of ping. Yeah, I don't like that one either. See, this is why I don't like these. Alright, so I've only got one more left. Okay. Hopefully this will be a good one. Let's see. See that? That doesn't even pop. Nope. Not acceptable. Okay, so out of all these, none of them's any good. So I'm faced with a dilemma here. This one doesn't say. But probably the reason my idle is crappy is because of the because of that right there. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these injectors and I think I have some Bosio nozzles that I'll drop in there. Because this one's popping off at where it's supposed to. But I don't like it peeing like that. So that's what I think I'll do. You're not supposed to mix and match for sure, but you know, in this case, we really don't have a choice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this injector apart, and I'm going to replace this nozzle with a Bosio nozzle. Alright, I want to show you the huge difference. I just replaced the nozzle with a Bosio nozzle. Look at that, perfect atomization, no peeing. That's what you want. Okay, so I guess what I'm going to have to do is I'll have to put I'm going to take the injector number 1 apart and do the same thing. So I'm just going to use all these rebuilt, remanufactured injectors and do them with the Bosios. All right, so I've got everything done, everything complete. I bled the lines, hooked everything back up, and this is how it runs. Still has just a little bit of a vibration to it, but it is smoother, especially when you give it a little fuel. So there are some important lessons that I want you guys to be aware of here. This is a very, very, very do-it-yourself job. But as you can see, 3 out of the 4 injectors that I got, they're unacceptable. And if you didn't test them before, then you wouldn't know. You know, and it would give you smoke. It may give you a lot of injector noise. But the point is, I think that when I took these out, one of the injectors was for a turbo diesel. It was the way wrong pressure. I think that was the number 3 cylinder. I think that had more to do with the funky idle than anything else, because it takes more pressure to open that injector. That's why I was getting a really bad vibration when it was idling, because I don't think that the injection pump was putting out enough pressure to open that injector until you give it some fuel. That's the first thing. Second thing is, one of the washers was incorrect. It was not the correct one. And one of the 4 washers was upside, somebody put it upside down. So basically, only 2 of the washers were either in their correct position or the correct washer. So all that's been corrected. Anytime you do injectors, I don't care, replace the heat shields. Okay, they're there because they're not that expensive. Just replace them. So thank goodness I had 4 of the Bosio nozzles in there, and I basically, you know, they all 4 injectors now have the Bosio nozzles. This is really not a failure. You know, basically, I could have taken all the injectors apart, cleaned them, and put the Bosio nozzles in what I had, but the advantage to the remanufactured injectors are they were spotlessly clean inside. I think they ultrasonically clean them. So I was able just to unscrew the bottom end and take the Bosch nozzle out, put the Bosio in, and torque it back, and they're all perfect. Of course, I replaced the injector return lines. I'll let you guys see the handiwork. So that is, I'm glad that project is out of the way. All the injectors are the proper 115 bar. I went ahead and put everything back on. So, you know, it starts just, I never had a problem starting. I never had an issue with smoke. It was just, you know, the idle is not the greatest in the world. It does give some vibration when it's in gear. But anyway, those nozzles were definitely, they were tired, put it that way. So I'm very confident now we've got the Bosios in there. They'll be good for at least 100,000 miles. All right, I just got back from a test drive and had to add this to the video. Having driven the car after doing the injectors and putting the Bosio nozzles in there, 80% of the vibration that I was feeling with the car in drive stopped, like at a stoplight or stop sign, is gone. Unbelievable. At idle, when we were looking at the engine, it's still got a little bit of a shake to it, but in drive, which is the main reason I was doing this, is because it was so annoying having the whole car shake. It's gone. I mean, it is, you can barely feel it idle. I mean, you can feel it idle, but it's very, very smooth. So I have to really say that this was totally worth it. I really couldn't tell it was that good until I went and drove it. As far as acceleration and power, it really feels the same. I mean, I can't really tell any difference. I do have a little bit of an injector nailing, and that will happen for a couple hundred miles till they break in. But good gosh, is it so much smoother, man. Anyway, I just wanted to, I'm going to throw this in the video, and very, very pleased, very pleased. All right, talk to you guys later. And yeah, so happy with everything. I think the next video I may take a break from the mechanical and start buffing the rest of the car. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for your viewership. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, whatever, there's a lot more videos that we have to do. I've got to, this is really bothering me. I really need to finish buffing this car out. Poor Jetta. It's working on 2.5 months. Still will crank, but it will not start. So if anybody knows, go back and look at the videos that I've got of everything I've done. I've run out of ideas. I don't know. Don't want the Jetta to go out like this. It's only got 378,000 miles. The engine's got awesome compression. It's got an $1,150 rebuilt, factory rebuilt injection pump. So there's something weird, something little, maybe electrical, I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you very much, and I will talk to you on the next video.